Well, living with, raising a child with autism uh, is a different journey than you plan for. And I think that's what you really learn. You can't plan for life. And it's a roller coaster ride, and it goes up and it goes down. And I think having a child with autism, you really learn tolerance. People can be very different. And what you see is not always what it is. And it's like a child with autism, it's an invisible handicap, and you can't see that a child has autism when you meet them. And it's being like a detective, really, trying to figure out. You learn about empathy because you think you can feel or sense how another person is, but when you have an autistic mind, they think very different from you, and you have to be a detective to learn to understand them and to communicate with them. So it's given me a lot of tolerance that people are different, and it's also made me more creative, I think, because you have to find different ways to communicate with an autistic person and to help them develop as well. It also has given me a lot of patience because it's a long journey raising a child with autism, and you have to try a lot of different things to see what works and not works. And you have to plan ahead. And by learning from my son, how he works and how he functions, I can plan ahead and make everything easier for him. And it's made me a better person, thinking about everything we will meet out there in this world. And it's also taught me a lot about courage. You have to have a lot of courage to stand up for yourself, to stand up for your child that is different. And it gives you thicker skin because you have to understand that you have to trust your own feelings and go your own path, and you can't really acknowledge other people's stares or dirty looks or comments when your child have a meltdown in a supermarket or whatever. You have to stand up for your child and help your child in that situation. And many times nowadays, autism, there's a bigger awareness of autism. So if you communicate, telling people what the situation is about, I feel nowadays you get a bigger understanding, and people are really friendly and helpful. And that is also, I think, you gain a lot of new friends. And you meet angels out there who you never thought would go out of their way. But just one example, my son, he loved this Christmas bread, and we bought it as a special store, and that was the only bread he ever ate. And I talked to this baker and I said, can I have the recipe? Because this is my son with autism, he loves this bread. And the baker said, well, I can bake it for you, and I'll keep it here in my freezer. You can come here and buy whenever you want. And he baked this special Christmas bread for a whole year for my son. And I was so amazed. And it turned out that his mother had worked with autistic children. So he knew what a journey it could be and how difficult it could be finding food for a child. And when you meet those special people, it's amazing. And it's also learned me a lot about life balance. Since my book is about raising a child with autism, but I wanted to do everything. And after many years of not sleeping, and at the end, I slept a couple of hours a night, and finally I broke down and had to spend a month in the hospital. And it took probably a year for me to come back to my old self and my strength again. And so it taught me a lot about life balance and how important it is that you have to have a good life balance, and you have to take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't be that loving and caring parent. And I think a lot of mothers, they think spending time on themselves is a luxury they can't afford, but you can pay a very high price if you don't. And I think that's one big lesson I learned for myself, that having life balance is very important.